This is such an amazing opportunity just to get together and have a chat about your journey. I'm so excited to hear more about how you came into Human Garage and then how things have unfolded for you because you've had really profound transformation. Yeah.
Yes. If not crazy. Yes. Total.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway,
So do you want to just dive in and share
so
about
I'll just
where it all
gonna
started?
dive in.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
just dive in.
Let's go.
So my journey with Human Garage was I found it on Instagram.
Hmm.
I was on a mission. I don't even know how many years ago, 7, 8, no, it's got to be more than that, 9, 10 years ago. I acquired AFib. And prior to that, I was on a spiritual journey and kind of fell off that wagon a bit because there wasn't a lot in the community where I was living. And but when I found Hugh, and so I was looking for something that was natural because I knew there had to be something that had related to my AFib.
Hmm.
I took myself off of drugs, got the doctor mad at me. Anyway, I was on this journey. And then I found Human Garage in Instagram. And it was just this connection because Gary just encompassed all of the modalities, the spiritual, the food, the energy, the horoscope, everything.
Yeah.
And I just loved his journey as well. And so it was November of 2022. Well, we were down. Oh, yeah, I found them out here. And then I was going to start in November, but that didn't work. So I started, I think, in February, it must have been February of, I guess it was 2023. And and Marlene, just so you know, I'm a 29 Aquarius, 10 Cap of rising, and a 22 Scorpio moon. So that's part of my journey as well.
Hmm.
So I started doing the Human Garage, the 28-day reset, and then Instagram found out that I was the 29, and that was when Garry started as 29. I almost think I was kind of the first one that
Were
I
you?
had written on Instagram. One of the first few in
Okay.
that group, right? And so then I started the 28-day. Fell off. Oh, I was supposed to start it. Oh, I fell off the wagon. I think I made it to 23 days. And
Okay.
then the group was going to do it together. Well, that didn't quite transpire. So then I fell off the wagon again. And then I met a lady here in Orangeville, and we were going to do it together. And she didn't know. I forgot about the 3 and the 7 days. So we fell off the wagon. So I'm like, that's it. I'm just going to go and do it. Right. Then I did it, and it's still like I'm not. I don't know if it's just me, but it's like, okay, I'll get up in the morning and I'll do it, and then it's like, scroll, I'm off to something else. I need somebody in my life to say, okay, Marlene, let's do this, right? So I'm not good by myself. So then I got into the LSA, and then uh, what happened? Oh, and that was all the old LSA. I don't know. Did you do the old LSA?
I did.
It was tough.
Yeah.
It was, unless you were really committed, it was really, really tough. And because there were some days that were like 3 hours long,
I know.
and
Oh,
three
yeah.
hours to, like,
Yeah.
I didn't have enough time for my life, never mind 3 hours of Human Garage.
Yeah.
So I never got it done, right? Last summer I had met the Toronto group, right? And that was Lori, Lewis, Julie, Daniela, and they started, and then I would go. So, and I loved going there and meeting those guys. And then they started the new 28-day, and that was such a treat. And prior to all that time, um, so let me go back to the 29 group. I don't like writing.
Okay.
It's not my thing. I'm more of a one-on-one person. So I really didn't chat much in that group, but there's other people and they're writing beautiful stuff. And so I really didn't feel like I belonged in there. And then every time, once in a while, I'd get the courage and I'd do something and I would do an audio. I wouldn't write it because it would take me so long to write it, right?
Yeah.
And then I'd listen back to it. I was like, and every other word was I should just delete it, but then it's part of my story too. So I'll leave it in there. And again, never really felt connected. And Gary's like, oh, if you share, it helps. And I'm like, yeah, no. I would try and it just wouldn't work for me. And then we would do some Zoom calls and I would be so nervous, right? And I just so nervous. And then I would try to get on. I tried once to get on Instagram, but then I didn't have my phone set up properly, right? I'm like, I never got on Instagram. I'm like, I don't want to get on Instagram. I'll embarrass myself because I'm nervous and I won't be able to talk. And they'll ask me a question and I won't be able to answer it. And so I never did get on Instagram Live. And it's funny because other people are like, I went on there, oh my God, Garry, right?
Yeah.
So that never transpired. So that's part of me being who I was. And so going back now to doing the LSA. So no, sorry. Then the new 28 day came along, right? And I was so excited. I'm doing this. Everybody's doing it. And then it was like day 5 or day 6. I had to look for a partner. I'm like, what?
Right. Okay. Yeah. That was the global reset. Yeah. In January.
Yeah. And I'm like, I almost quit because I didn't want to look for a partner.
It's big.
Like, I'm okay, which is the weirdest thing because when I do hospitality and that, I'm this great outgoing person. But when it comes to Marlene, I'm not, right? Because I'm not comfortable with her. It just always felt so different. I don't belong. I'm weird. And anyway, I thought, okay, you know what? I'll do this. I'll go look, right? And so I found this lady and her picture, and she had 2 dogs. I'm like, that's it.
Yeah.
So Rose, my 28 day partner, and we are like best friends now. We talk all the time, and we don't even talk about Human Garage. It's like, hey, how was your day? We're just there. Good morning, good night.
Yeah.
And I feel bad if I get busy and I forget to good night or good morning or. So it's like, oh my God, why did I feel so stressed about it?
Yeah, for sure.
It's just, it's crazy. And then she felt the same way, which was funny, right? She didn't want to look for anybody either, right? So and then it got to the LSA and I got a partner, but then again at the LSA and the new program was so good. But then some other things came into my life and I got busy. So now the story goes, so when was that? When was Mexico? The 17th?
April, yeah.
April 17th.
April 17th was day 1.
So the week before, it was the Wednesday. I don't know what I was doing or what happened, but all of a sudden it's got this download, Marlene, why are you not going to Mexico? And I didn't even know. I knew about it, like I'd seen the ads, but I had nothing. I knew nothing.
Yeah.
Right. So that was Wednesday. So Thursday I went to the Toronto group meeting and I'm like, anybody going? Because the only reason I had not to go was because I don't like flying.
Yes.
And I would have to be by myself.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the flying I don't like or the pre-flying. I just get nervous, and there's something that's happened before where I get nervous. I get up in the morning, it's nasty. So anyway, nobody was going. So then on Friday, I reached out to you.
Yeah.
Oh, and they had said at the meeting that they didn't quite get the numbers, that you didn't have the numbers that you were hoping you were short. You had space.
Yeah, we had space.
Anyway, so I called you and you had it. And then you got me in touch with Lee and we worked on the emotional freedom technique.
Yeah.
And that really helped. We did 2 sessions. It didn't completely get rid of my nerves.
Yeah.
But it helped me get there.
Yeah.
And the mornings were a lot less stressful. And then I booked it on, so that was Friday, Saturday, and I booked it Sunday and left on Wednesday.
Yes. Amazing.
It was
Yeah.
It was crazy. And then I was looking at the flights, and then on the way back, I thought, okay, because the between flying home on the Tuesday and flying home on the Wednesday, it was like a $400 difference.
Yeah.
And then you had said, well, somebody's staying an extra night and you can stay with her. So I stayed with her. So I'm like, okay, great. I'll
Yeah.
figure it out. I
Yeah.
don't know how, but I'll figure it out. And then prior to that, you had sent, so I didn't know anybody that was going. And you had sent me the YouTubes, and I recognized one of the ladies from the Toronto group,
Right.
right? And Antoinette. So it's like, okay, well, I'll just surprise her.
Yeah. Because this was a
And
whole other
then,
piece of it, was that you were asking for it to be a total surprise, right?
yeah, well, yeah, because yeah, it was a total surprise. That's right too, because I didn't want her to get the Toronto group because I was going to surprise the Toronto group because they were trying to do a Zoom on the Thursday and I was the Zoom guinea pig. That
Yep.
was so much fun. I was stressed that.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. I wonder if they've recorded that. I should ask them if they've recorded that.
Yeah.
So, and then you had sent out for everybody to what you expected, why you were going to the retreat. And I'm like, oh my God. So it had come so quickly. So I had to think of something. And I thought about it as like, you know what? I wanted to feel the human garage full on,
Yeah.
right? I wanted to experience it full on with food, people. Oh, I get shivers right now. Like, I just wanted to feel it. And I was like, okay. And then after that, we'll see what transpires.
Yeah.
So you asked for that. And then you would also ask for to write down what happened to you, whether it was good or bad, every 7 years.
Yes.
Right.
Through your story of your, yeah,
Yeah.
7 years.
So I didn't have time to do that. And I thought, well, I'll do it in the airport.
Yeah.
Well, then I was too nervous to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do this. And then going down, it was crazy. The airplane was about to take off and then it slammed on the brakes and then we didn't, and then we had to get off the plane, wait for a new plane. And I said to the girls beside me, I was like, that's not good. And then we had to wait for a new plane. And so that we had to wait a couple hours for that. And then we got on the new plane and I'm like, have we not left yet? 45 minutes later, they had to ask 2 gentlemen to go to the back of the plane because there was a weight issue. And I'm like, if there's one more thing, I'm getting off this plane and I'm not going to Mexico. It's a sign.
Yeah. Yeah. How did that feel to you to be in that contrast and that perceived resistance? What did that feel like?
I was okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was okay. Normally I would have been a nervous wreck, but I was okay with, all right. At that point, I thought, I'm like, okay, I don't even know what I thought, but now I look back, it's almost like I'm being tested, right? To see how it's going to react.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would have normally been a wreck, but I was just sitting there. I was like, okay, guys, go to the back of the plane. We need to go.
Beautiful.
To Mexico.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And now I want to fly everywhere.
There you go. Oh, wow.
I know.
I hadn't heard that update.
No, I do. I was like, now I need somewhere to go. I know where I'm going, but yeah. So then I get there finally.
Yeah.
And then my roomies. Did you plan that? Or was that just
Oh yeah, Jen planned all of the roommates based on astrology.
okay? Okay, so my roomie the first night was a 29 Leo.
Of course.
And we're like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, that resonance, right? Of the 29s.
It was crazy. We were just like, oh my God, we're like soul sisters.
Yeah.
Like we were just into so many things that were so like the dowsing and and we're just and we could stop yakking.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't gonna tell in my pre thing. I wasn't going to tell the story, but when we were with Garry, he didn't know, like, the first time. I don't want to tell too much of it. The first time he came over to us, because we were standing together.
Yeah.
And he was the first ones, we were the first ones he approached, and we're like, we're 29. So he's like,
Of course.
make this shit up, right?
Yeah.
It's
Just
crazy.
lined it for you. Yeah.
Yeah, there they are.
So funny.
It was funny. So what were you saying? Oh, so we're went to Tulum, Playa de Carmen for lunch. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to see the lay of the land because I hadn't been there since '93. And then I thought it was funny because I was at the front of the bus. You don't know this. And so the guy is really cute, the young guy. So he turns right. And I'm like, because I thought we were going to the Tulum one that's on the beach, right?
Yes. So you
I was
guys
like,
were coming down the highway, and all of Playa del Carmen and the ocean was on the left. And
yeah,
he turned right into the jungle, which is where Once, the retreat center, was. And you didn't
right. But
realize you were on the beach. Yeah.
I didn't know that. So I'm like, you're going the wrong way.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, well, that's the right way, right? And then I turn the ladies and they're like, we're going to the jungle. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and then one of the
Love
other
it.
ladies that signed up on the Monday, she thought we were going to that one too, right? So she's like, Marlene, maybe we can sneak off one day to the beach. And I'm like, yeah, okay, well, let's wait and see how this all transpired, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad we were not on the beach.
Yeah.
It would have been a distraction,
Mm-hmm.
or it was beautiful where we were.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, I love surprises.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. A surprise for you in that moment.
Yeah. So then we got there. And then, so I had signed up for just the communal room.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful, oh my God, the place is spectacular. I can't begin to tell you the energy of this on-site. It was just beautiful. Anyway, so they had this big house, and you go into the main floor, and Jen's taking us, and there's 6 beds. So I grab a bed.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, there's 2 more beds upstairs. So this other lady and I go upstairs. There's these wooden round stairs, and we go around. I was like, I grab a bed, she grabs a bed. And then I felt bad because everybody's like, guess those beds are taken. I was like, sorry, right? And then I said to one lady, because she didn't like air conditioning, and then I don't like air conditioning. And I said, okay, well, if it doesn't work for you down there, I'll come upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
I'll switch with you.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then here I am fighting for to be in 3s, and I don't like 3s. In the past, I have not liked being in 3s because I always felt left out.
Yeah, so let's pause there for 1 second, Marlene. So just so that people understand, the upper floor of that house, or that building, had 2 beds out in the common area, and then a 3rd bed in another little section. So it was literally 3 people on one level, and then down below was 6 people in that room. And so
Right.
something came up for you when you saw that you were in a room of 3. Yeah.
Right. I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm going to be left out.
Yeah. So there was a whole
Perception.
narrative around being one in a group of 3 for you
Yeah.
from a long, long time ago.
Yeah, just for, like, when you go hang out with 3 and 2 are off and I'm by myself or whatever. It's just something that I think about. So I don't try to not to do 3s anymore. So I don't feel like I'm left out.
Yeah.
And so then the first night we're sitting around the campfire, which was beautiful, but it was hot.
We were around a campfire in Mexico. It was warm. There was ambiance, and it was quite warm.
Yeah. And no matter how many cushions we sat on, that thing was hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's okay. So we're going to share our stories, right?
Yeah.
And Jen goes first. And she's like, okay, everybody, you have 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was the plan. Yeah.
That was the plan. And Jen, and because it was all, were you all going to do it all in one night?
Yeah.
Try to?
It was sectioned into that first night. Yes.
Yeah.
5
So
minutes.
anyway, Jen goes, and what was she, half an hour, 45 minutes?
Oh gosh, yeah. 20 minutes at least. Yeah. I was
But
looking
it
at
was,
her and I was like, what are you doing? What are you modeling here for the group? But it was just such a natural flow, right? And once you start sharing your story, 5 minutes is just, it's not very much
no,
time, is it?
and it never felt like it was long because
Exactly.
you're so, just like, it's just, and then, and I don't want to say too many names, or I can say the
Yeah.
names. I just don't want to share the
Yeah.
names in
Yeah.
case they don't want me to share their names.
Yep.
But then some of them had the courage to go the first nights,
Yeah.
and some of them were very powerful.
Yes.
Very like get the Kleenex.
Yeah.
But it was such an experience. You have to, it's hard to explain. It really is.
Yeah.
And then so we did that, and then that night I went up to my room, and there's the two ladies, and they're doing cards on the bed, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Well, feeling left out, right? But
Yeah.
they have a story to tell, that they're like, well, you could have come over and joined us, but I'm just in my not belonging world,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Not my outgoing world.
Yeah.
So then that was fine. Then the next night, we're same spot, but we don't have the fire pit going.
Mm-hmm.
And and so that was when too, the Scorpio moon, full moon was that while we were there.
Yep.
And in the lower floor, they had 3 scorpions show up
Yeah.
separately.
Yep. Powerful
And
medicine.
didn't Katrina say that they've never seen Scorpions there before? Scorpions there before?
Yeah, they've never
I
had
can,
them there before. Leon, the guy who manages the property, said it was, yeah, unheard of.
that was,
And of course, everybody's looking up scorpion medicine. What does this mean? And it's death, rebirth, transformation, like just such beautiful messages for the group to begin this journey. It
yeah,
was,
and 3.
yeah,
Yeah,
3, I believe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah,
can't
and they
make
were
this
always
up.
just like sitting in a doorway facing out where people were coming. And so people would just see them. And then Nikki was the person who was always
Yeah,
going, well, now I'm saying names. One person went and would collect the scorpion and take it off into the jungle, and
the Scorpion Whisperer, we called her.
the scorpion whisperer. But it was so beautiful that they were always like clearly presenting themselves like, I'm here with a message for you. Okay, message received. Take me back into the jungle.
And I've never seen one live, and I'm like, call me the next time. But none had,
Did you see any of them?
no,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
You
so
still
disappointed.
received the magic.
Yeah,
Everybody.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Oh,
Yeah.
totally. Totally. It was so good.
Yeah.
So then the next night, um, more people shared. And again, they weren't 5 minutes, they were long.
Yeah.
Some people had written some stuff, but most people just ad-libbed it. And it didn't really just go through their 7 years. They just let
Yeah.
it go,
Yeah.
right? Which was beautiful.
Mhm.
Um, and then that night, no, it wasn't that night. I can't remember the nights. Now, I'm
Yeah.
not a
There's so much.
journaler. Maybe I should have journaled them.
It becomes a big, like, fluid dream of transformation.
Yeah, I know one of the nights, and I thought it was the second night,
Hmm.
but I don't think so, because I didn't do mine until the third night, because
Yeah, we
when we were
started doing them in
pumpkin
the
shares.
afternoon actually, because we were doing astrology at night after the
Sorry? Yeah, it was kind of the after.
afternoon.
Yes,
Yeah, we switched them to the afternoon on the second and third day.
right.
Hmm.
And at that moment, so my 29 was sitting beside me, she shared, and I can't not tell you when or how or what, but something shifted in me. And I was ready to share my story
Woo! Cold chills.
without any nerves. I just shared it.
Yeah.
And I shared my story is you're gonna make me cry. I've never felt like I belong. I've never felt like I belong. when I was younger, I never felt like I belonged here on this planet.
Mhm.
I was always weird. I was a tomboy, so I was different from everybody. And then I got out of that stage, and then I was modeling and I worked in cosmetics. And then I was like not too pretty, but I'd gone from this to that, which was, and I never felt like I belonged anywhere. My family, their birthdays are all in the summertime. They got pool parties. Mine's in February. My mom, like, thank God for my sister to look after me, but my mom and dad were always away.
Mhm.
Like, they'd go away for 2 weeks when dad was working, and it's been like my birthday. I'm like, all the weeks in the winter, and you got to go on my birthday.
Yeah.
So, and then just all the, just always felt like I never belonged and I was different. And then I would meet people and then they would share stuff with me and then I'd share it. And then people even thought I was weirder because they didn't believe in what I was sharing. I'll never forget the first time I got into dowsing. And I had this rod. I had rods, and my sister was like, "Oh, you're moving them."
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Nothing about energy.
Mm.
And so that was pretty much the theme. And then pretty much, and it's amazing that pretty much everybody at some point was abused or
Mm.
has the story of abuse
Mhm.
or unloved. And yeah, I was abused. Um, so it just it changes everything. And then afterwards, and I said, I'm 29 Aquarius. And then supposedly they don't feel like they belong. I don't know about you, being the 20 Aquarius. And then Carrie, Kelly came over to me after I did my talk. And she said, "Oh my God, Marlene, I'm Aquarius moon. I could never figure out why I didn't belong."
Yeah.
Right. And then another lady came over and she said, "Oh my God, you've inspired me so much. I want to share my story." Oh,
Mhm.
and then that point too, while I was doing my talk, that was when we all felt like we've met our weirdos. Oh, remember that? Oh my
Yes.
God.
What a powerful moment.
Oh, give me
Yeah.
shivers. It was so powerful. We were celebrating being weird.
Well, exactly. And that's the amazing gift of sharing your story and sharing these experiences that you've had of feeling like you don't belong. And that is a big part of the medicine of being an Aquarius. I grew up with that as well. That's the 4, right? That also shows up in your moon because you're a 22. I'm a 22 moon as well. So that's Aquarius as well. It nets to 4. And so
Okay.
that feeling that we go through, that journey of not belonging, is what we're really here to transmute into the ultimate belonging, and then to be beacons of light for that belonging for others. And that's what you did in that moment.
It, yeah, it was, I was first time in my life, I felt like I belonged somewhere. And that has changed my life forever. I can be weird. I actually now love myself.
Yes.
Um, I came home and that jumping ahead a little bit, but I came home and I'm smiling so much. I'd look in the mirror and like, yeah, I'd be smiling and I'd walk away and I'd go back, oh, still smiling. It just had to check.
Yeah.
It just, and then the rest of the week, oh my God, like the Sonora. Oh, and then sorry, then I'll go back to the threes. So then
Yeah.
I went and talked with my two roommates and I said, listen, and one of them was Aquarius. And so she was sharing with her how she didn't feel like she belonged.
Yeah.
And then I thanked them,
Yeah.
right? I said, I finally feel like I belong. And I'm not left out of the three I was not left out of the three anymore. So it's belonging and your perception.
Yes.
And then there was one time, Nikki and Teresa and I went off, and there were three of us, and we were singing in the what's it called again? I can never.
Temescal. Yeah.
Temescal. Oh my God, that was beautiful. And then one time we went there and we're all doing their thing after one of the maneuvers in the morning. And that was, oh my God, that was magical.
Yes.
Oh my God. And then the cenote.
Hmm.
Oh, and I thought, oh, we're going on a road trip. Yay, right?
Yeah.
No clue.
Like 5 steps out the door.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It's like, that's right there. Oh my God.
Yeah. So
Oh
the
my
cenote
God.
is an underwater, or it's an underground cave with this magical, transformative water and this beautiful energy. And so we were able to swim in the water down there. And then we also had the sound healing in that space where everybody was laying down. And then the didgeridoo and the drums and the singing was just, it was resonating and bouncing off of the walls and the ceiling of the cave.
It was, oh, I'll have to be honest, the first day I'm like, I don't know what was coming up, but I was just like earthquake, and I wasn't comfortable the first time, really.
Being down there.
Down there, yeah, because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh. And then it went away.
Yeah.
But that first day is like, I don't know where that was coming from, but that was there.
Yeah.
And hey, it is what it is. Oh, and then we have to tell the story about what was it? It was the second night because we were sitting around and and all of a sudden you could hear this growling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And we're like, what the hell is that? And then Katrina, no,
Jen.
Katrina,
Okay.
yeah, said, well, there's cats. And I'm like, oh, it's a big
Right. Yeah.
freaking cat. That's not a meow, meow, right? I was growling and it growled a few times.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of nervous after that because it's like, I'm going to go in my room and this big black cat's going to pounce on me.
You're on the second floor.
I had to walk to the first floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fine, right?
Yeah.
And then some people were like, yeah, okay, whatever. But it was crazy because it almost felt like it was sitting on the other side. At one point, I thought he was mad. Somebody was mad that we went in the Sonota.
Okay.
That was a thought that I had. I don't know. And it's like, well, they can't come through there because there was the netting, right? So,
Right.
but
Yeah.
they looked for it and they didn't find anything. So
Yeah.
we don't know what that was.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
really cool.
Some of that beautiful, like wild energy coming,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. The food, um, I didn't go to the bathroom for 4 days,
Mm,
but the food we ate, so much food, beautiful food.
yeah.
I never had one blip, not one, nothing with my AFib the whole time we were there.
Amazing.
So it's like just it was living. And then we were doing the partner maneuvers and then we were doing other stuff. Everybody had the partner maneuvers. It was great. Each of you guys were great. Each had your own little modality that you did was wonderful. The cold plunging was great. I don't want to spoil everything in case somebody wants this going. You're
Yeah.
gonna have to change it all up. It was so much fun. And the connections that we made because we got to know each other.
Yeah.
And I always tried to make it that I was sitting with somebody different at dinner time, right?
Yes.
Because of conversations, and you're like, "What are you guys talking about? What are you?" Because you wanted to be a part, you were missing out. I was like, "No, I want to be the part of that." Oh,
Yeah.
it was so much fun. And then what else was going on? Oh, and then that was the last day, and then the pool was great. The place was just beautiful,
It's a
and it's
beauty.
all open. It's all open. The only
Yeah.
thing that's closed is your rooms, right?
Yeah.
And then the last day, I thought about, and the only person I really didn't have to get to chat with was Alexandria,
Okay.
Callie.
Yeah.
And I said to her the next day, I said, we have to do something together. And she goes, Marlene, I dreamt about you, or you were in my thoughts this morning, right? And then that's when we did that. I love you. And then we're looking at each other in the eye. Oh my God.
Yeah. So that deep heart connection.
Ah,
Yeah.
and like I was talking to my 29 the other day. And, I believe the group all feels that we not connect, always connected on a regular basis, but we're there for each other and we'd have each other's back. There's
Yeah.
been this connection of these people that it's beautiful. It's I can't explain it. And now I have the confidence. Now I show up everywhere.
This is amazing. So you brought this into like out of the retreat experience, which was a very like intensive experience of like full immersion. You're living together, you're spending all day together, you're having huge transformation, you're sharing your stories, and then you come back home and like you said, you're walking around, you're smiling at yourself in the mirror, you're feeling these changes. And then there's an invitation to how do I bring this into my life and
Yeah,
into my interactions with other people outside of this community and this bubble, basically, that we were just in.
yeah. And it's funny. So we just go back to when we left there.
Yeah.
Everybody says, "Oh, I have to integrate," and I'm like, "What the hell is this integrate?
Yeah. What does
Like,
this
what
mean?
does it mean, right?" I'm like, "Come on, what do you mean you need weeks, right?"
Yeah.
And then so we get to Mexico, and it was my 29 that was staying, so I stayed the extra day. And you walk away from this place that has this energy
Hmm.
that you miss.
Hmm.
It's the place and the connections with everybody and the energy. And then you're always like, ugh, where's the energy?
Mm.
And you want that back
Hmm.
so bad. So that takes some time to get used to.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm with this new person.
Yes.
So I have to to know this new person because this is I'm happy, but I'm different.
Yeah.
I'm forever changed.
Yes.
And then I went to the Powassan. So I had Powassan booked, or the May, I don't know how you want to call it, the May
Yeah.
retreat in Ontario. So, and I didn't tell anybody I had gone to Mexico because I didn't want anybody to have expectations of my experiences. So this is why I'm doing this a little later.
Yeah.
I just wanted them to feel it on, and I went with a calmness.
Mm.
Plus, I hadn't felt so good the weekend before, so that didn't help. But I just gone with this groundedness
Hmm.
and I didn't have to be, I was just good with being me,
Beautiful.
right? And I didn't have to, because normally I would try to be funny or I try to belong. I always felt like I was trying to belong.
Right?
I didn't feel like I needed to try. And the ladies were beautiful. It was different than Mexico.
Yeah.
It was shorter.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. All the ladies loved it, the connections. We just didn't get to do the connections that we had done in Mexico because it was a time crunch and they all wanted to share their thing and what have you. And there is a connection and beautiful friendships, but I
Yeah.
would love for them to all experience the intimate
Yeah.
relationship. And I'm sure we will. We will all get together when we have more time and do that,
Yes.
which I'm still looking forward to.
Amazing. Well, and what a beautiful opportunity you gave yourself to have this huge transformation. And then you were home for 2 weeks, maybe not even 10 days.
No, yeah.
And then to go into another immersive experience where you get to show up as this new you and to be
And
authentic in that.
I know. And I'm in the room with three again.
Oh, oh, you're so supported.
I know. It was great. And, at the end there, when we're in the circle, it's pretty much at the end of the day. Is anybody else have anything to say? Yeah, I do. No, I really wouldn't
Beautiful.
do that.
Yep.
I'd be, oh my God, no, I can't say anything. And I don't even remember what I said. I just said, basically sharing with them that this is a beautiful experience and just keep going. And I just kind of shared a little bit about my experience. I forget what I said.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter exactly.
Well, and it's the energy, right, of you showing up, you using your voice to
Yeah.
create that feeling of belonging,
Yeah.
because that's what you're bringing now into all of these different situations that you find yourself in. You
Yeah.
are there to offer belonging to others,
Yes.
which is such
And
a gift.
the universe has brought me there like it did in Mexico because I have no clue where that came. So
Yeah.
it's always pushing me to go.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, you're
share it.
following
And
that intuition and you're showing up where you're needed, where you can serve, because that's one of the things that was so amazing about the INFLOW retreat was that everybody that came was a part of the co-creation of transformation for each other.
yeah.
Everyone came to receive and also to give.
Yes.
Hmm. And it
Yeah.
would have been a different experience if you take one of any of those people and remove them. And
Yeah.
that was one of the things that I was really trusting as it was unfolding, because as you said at the beginning, we still had room. Because initially we were like, oh, we could hold space for 20. Because of course I'm a 20-degree Aquarius. I'm like, we can hold space for 20. That's my number. And then when it was 14 plus the four of us, so we ended up with 18 people, I was just in this place of full surrender that the people who were meant to be there were being magnetized in. And
Yeah.
so, I was talking to somebody at 12:30 at night, the night before everybody was flying in, and she was looking at flights and trying to make it work. And I said, if it's in the flow and you're on the plane, we would love to have you. And if it's not meant to be, we'll see you at the next one. And she was like, and so then she let it go. And she was like, okay, I feel like it's too rushed next time. And
Right.
I had no attachment. I was just like, okay, she's meant to
Yep.
be the next one. And to have
Yep.
that divine faith that everyone that's coming is going to make their way there and be there, that's meant to be, is powerful.
I know. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
beautiful.
I I love the opportunity to grow together in this way. And this is one of the things that I've been trying to articulate. I've been choosing to articulate since the beginning is the alchemy that happens when we get together in person.
Yeah.
Like, how do we put this into words?
You can you can't. You can't. And it's like, and we've talked, and it's like, okay, everybody, and we wish we had had more time because,
Yeah,
there's people. I don't want to be a coach,
yeah,
right? But I
yeah.
have other stuff to share in
Hmm.
that container. And
Yeah,
everybody had something to share,
yes,
right? And we were all kind of different, which was great. And it's the same with Powassan, right?
yeah,
Janine had her herb stuff, which was great. And then Danielle and her dancing, and that was
yes,
great. And then Julie with her fashion maneuver, her partner maneuvers, and her maneuvers, and just having so much fun. Like,
yeah,
and everybody, all the coaches have something different to share, and all the people that are there have something different to share.
yes, exactly. Well, and that's where the co-creation piece comes in. I feel very clear that I choose not to create something on my own because there's the magic when we
I
come
don't want to
together.
do it.
And
Yeah.
so, like, even look at what we did for INFLOW. It's Katrina, Lee, Jen, and myself. So four of us make I Belong, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We hold the container for belonging, and then
Right.
everybody comes into that container and belongs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so I almost forgot the story. The
Yeah.
other part of the Garry story.
Of course, right. Garry.
I forgot the Garry story. So anyway, so Garry and the core team showed up,
Yeah.
and so we did partner maneuvers for an hour because they only could come for 2 hours, and then we got in a circle for an hour,
Yeah.
and so I was like, okay, anybody want to share? And then the one lady that went first, oh my God, love her. Ah, and then Garry is like going around, and then so my 29 sitting beside me, so she shares. Well, then that's the Garry, and things don't happen. Things happen for you, and so her husband was the same name as Garry's dad and the same birthday as Garry's dad. So they're talking like that, right?
Yeah.
Doing their thing.
Mhm.
And then so he's like, oh, anybody else? And I'm like, yeah, I had my only opportunity, right? So I'm gonna do it. And so I said to him, I said, I'm not mad at anybody in particular. I'm mad at the universe for making me so weird,
Mm. Mhm.
right? And I don't know if you're going to attach it or how you want to
Yeah.
do
I'll
that.
drop it. I'll drop it in.
Because
Yeah.
I'm willing to show that. And because I don't remember a lot, I just remember him saying that I'm about community, and I live on my own, but I want to be in community. So
Yes.
I've thought about this I'm trying to manifest it. I'm not trying, I will manifest a community. I always thought 100 acres. We all have our little tiny house around the lake, and we all participate in the
Yeah.
community. We're all like-minded, and we're sharing the energy. And then he said, yeah, you're all about community. And he said, what was he said? That don't worry about being so weird because we're all starting to catch up to you.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And
That was powerful. He spoke into that, that you're on the leading edge of where everyone's headed, because
yeah,
29 Aquarius, we're moving into the age of Aquarius. So you are that beacon of light. That disconnect of like, I don't belong, that weirdness that you feel, that is where everybody's headed.
yeah. So it's 29, so it's intense.
Yeah. Yeah, for
It
sure.
is. But yeah, so anyway, just wanted to share that story.
Yeah.
And
Beautiful.
I think and then coming back. So now coming back, now the energy has changed, and I had booked a 5:30 plane, right? And I knew there was a 3 o'clock airplane but I booked the later one because there was a big price difference.
Mhm.
And then my 29, her plane was leaving at 3, so she was taking an Uber at 12. And so I body tested it. Should I go to the airport? Will I get on the 3? Yep. Okay. And then this man comes along. He's like, well, you want to hang out with me? Because he's going back to Kitchener, and his plane was leaving at 5 o'clock. Mine was 5:30. No, okay, let me body test. Yeah, nope. Go to the airport. Got on the 3 o'clock plane, no problem. And
Yeah.
it was full. So I'm like, okay. So it just everything, perception and everything changes,
Yeah.
and life changes.
Yeah.
And I can't believe after that how much I now recognize the word perception. Like,
Mm,
it's huge.
yes.
Yeah. And I see other people's how their life is because of their perception of what's going on in their life. And it makes it a little easier to understand other people's decisions.
Yes, and that's a great awareness. And then there's so much less attachment to the choices other people make.
Right.
So you can understand that it's through their perception, their lens, that they are seeing things a certain way and making certain choices.
Yeah.
It's also so empowering because if we go back to where you were in the room with the two other people, so there was a group of three, nothing in that scenario changed other than you and your perception from one night to
Exactly.
the other. And then you
Yeah.
walked in there and you were like, I belong, this is awesome, here I am.
Yeah.
That's the power of perception,
Oh,
and
yeah.
all within our control, our choice to change it.
I love threes now.
I believe.
I believe. I'm
Yeah,
out with friends, and I'm like, look, three, and I'm great.
yeah,
Yeah, it's too funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's that continuous like growth and expansion. And the other thing too, talking about that community that you're desiring, I feel into sometimes this idea of, or this belief for me, that the things that we go through that are so not what we desire, like that strong feeling that you had of not belonging, the stronger that feeling is, and the longer that path was for you, is the power and the potency of what you're going to bring for others in belonging and in community, because
Right.
you know what it feels like to not belong. So now when you meet someone else who is lost in that not belonging, you are going to be shining the brightest light and offering the most beautiful place for them to belong, because you know it.
And
You,
and so that makes a lot of sense because in my hospitality part of me, I could do that,
mm,
right? Because that was my thing to make, just, my timing is great. I can just, people are like, how do you know when my wine glass is empty and stuff like that, right? Like that part. But now I can bring my weirdness and the two together.
yes. Well, and weirdness is such a concept of isolation, isn't it?
Oh, totally.
I mean, they get bonded together. And so when we feel like we can be authentically ourselves, and it's also kind of an Aquarius thing to be like,
Yeah.
unique and different, and you want to be different. and then you can gather a whole bunch of that energy together and honor everybody in their weirdness or their uniqueness.
Right.
Ugh, it's just, it becomes so fun and playful.
Oh, it does. Yes.
Hmm.
And that's like, that's my inner child. I'm the one out playing with the kids. I'm the one like just having fun, right? Like I can't stop. It's, I go pickleball, you get some grumpy people, and it's like, and I'm laughing all the time. And it's like, it's a lot healthier when you're laughing, and they probably, I can see them getting mad at me for laughing all the time. That's my perception. They're probably not. Just
Yeah.
my perception.
Yeah. And so now
Yeah.
that it's been, a little bit of time, so April, May, June, we're getting into June. It's been a little bit of time since you were at these retreats and having these experiences. How do you find that it's feeling now? Are you still able to tap into that feeling of connection and belonging? Like, is it alive within you, or is it something that you kind of have to cultivate and nourish?
I have to cultivate and nourish, I believe, because I'm by myself.
Hmm.
And I struggle. So yeah, so I'm back on my not eating properly and not doing the movements all the time. And
Yeah.
so because I just I don't know what it is, that squirrel kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um I'm trying, I'm not trying, I don't like that word. I choose this.
I
Something
choose
better.
this.
I've got it sticking on my window. I'll
Yeah.
show it to you another time.
Oh,
Um, hey, I have my days.
yeah.
I
Don't we
have my
all?
days. I'm still wanting it. I would desire it because, like every day at the retreat, I was there doing the maneuvers in the morning. I was doing everything because it was right there.
Yeah.
For me, it's harder because it's not right here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and this is a beautiful conversation to have because this is very real, right? We go
Yeah,
off and we spend this time together and we get to fully focus on just doing maneuvers and growth and exploration and play. And then we come back into whatever our life looks like, and time goes by. And so this is the question that I'm continuously reflecting on is how do we choose to stay connected? And how do we keep this alive in us? Because once our body knows it, our body knows it. It's a question of continuing to nourish that feeling. And I know that
yes,
you've been on a bunch of the calls in the app, and so there's connection there, which
yeah,
is beautiful. And I mean, we are still in our homes alone, connecting through the screen. And then when the call's done, we close the computer and we're back in our environment. And so I know that you have the opportunity to meet with people in person, just where you happen to be. Some people have that, some people don't. And so I'm super curious about how to keep this alive and how to continually um, expand it outward.
yeah. That's a really good question. Because when I got back, I was on the calls. So
Yep.
because I was still in my "Woohoo, yeah,
Yeah.
repeat"
Yeah.
mood, and then that's when Stephanie, and then I've been sharing, and I haven't shared this with that I've talking to this lady one time, and she's Spanish, or Spanish was her first language, English was her second, and she's like me, asked me, and I said, well, English is my second language. I don't have a first, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I can communicate like this, but not in words, right? It's like, oh, I can't spell. It's just not here, right? And
Yeah.
then it blew her away because then she's the one that's the native, and energy is their first language. So, and the words are the second language, and that brought tears to her. And I'm like, oh, we just had this beautiful connection.
Yeah.
And then I reached out to this lady. I don't know, I can't even remember where I found her. And I said, hey, listen, I'm off because she's up in West Wasaga Beach, about an hour from here, right? And
Okay.
I said, I'm often up there. I'll reach out to you, right? So I was up there one week. I couldn't stop by. And then the next week, I said, I don't even want to do partner. I just want to meet you,
Yeah.
right? So I go in and meet her, and she's just this very meek lady, very quiet, very spiritual. She has the spiritual stuff that she does. And then she knows Mary, Coach Mary.
Okay.
And anyway, we had to go, but just at the end there, I said to her, I said, English. I told her the story about me and Stephanie. I said, English is my second language. I don't have a first, it's energy. And she's like, and I'm like, uh-oh. And she's like, oh my God, that's what she's been living her whole life, right? And then I'm leaving and she's like, oh my God, I love you. Thank you for coming by. Oh my God, right? Oh my God, it's like, I love you too.
Ah, so that's it.
I and then I saw Mary on Sunday
Yeah.
at the Toronto group, and I heard her mention Wasaga, and she's like, "Oh yeah." So she goes, "I said, yeah, I met this lady." She goes, "You're the one you should."
Oh, Marlene, I love it.
She
Yeah.
was telling Mary about this person that she had met and made this connection with, and she was all excited. She goes like, "Oh yeah."
Yes. So to me, what I hear in what you're sharing is you took that feeling and you created it with another person.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sparked it, she responded, and then the two of you created that energy bubble of the community.
Yeah.
And so
And we
you
haven't
have
talked.
the ability to do that with others.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we haven't got to because she doesn't drive. So,
Yeah.
but we have, and I haven't been up there, but just a story and the feeling
Yes.
and it just, I text her. I was like, oh, how you doing? Love you, miss you. Yeah. So, and I like more than that, but because of the distance, it's harder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And I totally get that. And I would just like keep cultivating that superpower that you're awakening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
even and and I like going to the meetings, but they're still not the same
Hmm.
because you haven't shared.
Yeah.
Like it's a nice community, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not. And that's what also I wanted to, now that I've touched it, it's after Mexico, I think it was the first time in a long time I felt my heart.
Mm.
So anyway, and not anyway, it was beautiful, just beautiful. And I just want to share before I forget,
Yes.
I was watching the Garth Brooks documentary on Netflix.
Hmm.
And at the end, he said, it is important, it matters what you do, but it's more important who you do it with.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. That community, that connection, like that. I mean, that could describe your journey here of what you're doing, what you're like. I can feel this magnetism in you, and you are truly drawing people in.
Yeah,
You're, yeah.
what was it that was written in that book that I shared with you?
Yes.
You are authentic, not because you've changed yourself, but because you become yourself.
Yes. That one gives me chills.
Oh, it's me too. I gotta write that somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, put that on a sticky, a big sticky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Uh,
It's been it's been such a beautiful gift to get to know you. We've both been in the community. I've seen you in the Toronto group online, but never got to meet you. And I just feel so grateful that you and I have crossed paths and that I'm getting to know you more and more. You're such a beautiful, beautiful soul, and I love you so
oh,
much.
and it feels the same with everybody, like you and Katrina and Jen and
Yeah.
all the coaches and Lee and Janine and Lori and Daniela and the people. Just
Yep.
it is such a beautiful community. But you don't, for me, because I have to be in person, I don't necessarily get it over the
Yeah.
Zoom calls.
Yep. For
For
sure.
me,
Yeah.
maybe other people do,
Yeah.
right? And that was something else going back to when I used to do the maneuvers and people are like, I'll never forget it. Like we're doing the $25 ones, right? And Gary's like, oh, how's that feel in your knee? And I'm like, I don't feel anything. And some people are going, oh, it feels like there's butterflies floating in my knee. And I'm like, come on.
Yeah. Well, as Aquariuses, we're notorious for like being able to be pretty disconnected from our body.
Yeah. Oh, totally. But down there, because Lee has a way of doing it,
Yeah.
you know, talk to yourself. What do you feel?
Yeah.
And you're just walking it out and focusing. And it's like, oh, I do feel.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it was because the energy there or just what was going on. It's like, oh, it feels alive. This side feels alive. Wow. Like I really felt that down there.
Beautiful. Yeah, that
Yeah.
presence with your body, right? And really
Yeah,
noticing the changes as you're doing them.
it did.
Hmm.
And now I feel it more. I pay more attention to it now that because I got to experience that. So I do pay more attention to it.
Yeah.
I just don't do it enough that I wish I would do it a little more. I wish I
Yeah.
was more, but that's not me
Yeah.
yet. In the past,
In the
I can
past.
change.
Yeah, and that's contrast too. And so there's an opportunity just to notice that you're in this place of contrast and notice how it felt when you were choosing to do maneuvers more or when you did them at the retreats or compared to how it feels to not be doing them as much and then you make another choice the next day and you make another choice the next day. Hmm.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aw.
exactly. Yeah, so I just wanted to do this. We wanted to do this to share with people. And if this is just a documentary of our connection and our stories, great. If this helps somebody,
Yeah.
hey, we're there. And if somebody wants to share with a being an Aquarius or something, we're willing to move this forward in whatever way. And today's the decide, something decisions because Chris Kwitecki is saying today's the day where choices can change.
Today is a huge day. So not only is it a step 22 day today, which nets to 4, which is I belong, which
Right.
divinely worked out. We picked this day and then we saw the step day.
Yeah.
But it's also a really potent day for what you're saying, like this transformative energy of, yeah, we're making big decisions and we're either deciding to stay on a certain trajectory or we're making a totally different choice and moving forward in a profound way. And I'm really
Yeah.
feeling that energy.
Yeah. And then when I walk the dog through the forest, I just like ask the universe just to make this what it is meant to be appropriately
Beautiful. Yeah. Well, and that
for the
was part
best.
of how the conversation started was Aquarius, right? Like
Yep.
we gather the Aquariuses. You were feeling called to gather the Aquariuses. And I can see how that translates into the I belong piece. Like
Yeah.
potentially anybody who has gone through feelings of not belonging, right?
So, and then another reason was, so I forgot about this. So at the Powassan event, Janine asked, because we were standing in the circle. I wasn't in the circle for some reason. And she said, how many people feel like they don't belong? And a lot of them put their hands up, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
gotta do something,
Yes. Yes. There we go. This is the beginning.
right? Because I couldn't believe it. And that yeah, I know they belong, feel like they belong, but I don't know that they feel like they belong like how I feel like they belong. I don't, and I want that for people. I
Yeah.
so want that for people.
Yeah. Well, and that coming home to knowing and trusting that you belong also brings you home into your body.
Yeah,
And then you're more connected with your body as well because you belong inside of your body, you belong in the world. It's multi-leveled.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's magical and I'm so excited that you're embodying this new season of your life. I feel, yeah, just this expansion all around you.
Oh, so exciting. So much
Yeah.
fun. It's fun.
And thank you for speaking. Like, I know that was a piece too, like speaking out and sharing your voice and sharing your experiences.
No,
Yeah.
I couldn't have done this before the retreat. There's no way.
Ah,
No
yeah, you've shared so beautifully your
way.
experiences. So thank
Yeah.
you for speaking into them.
Thank you. Thank you for having the retreat. Thank you for being you.
Mhm.
And it just Yeah. Can we do this again sometime?
Yeah, let's just keep doing this. Thank you. I love you so much.
I love you too so much.
Aquarius 29.
Whoa, this is so weird. So I don't know that I have anybody to blame. I just blame the universe for making me weird. Says the 29 Aquarius.
Yeah, but everybody else is becoming weird now.
I know.
Yeah, we're the weird girls.
We're all becoming an Aquarius. I'm a 24 degree Aquarius. I'm 25 degree Aquarius right now.
My Chiron's 28 Aquarius.
There you go.
Super weird.
Yeah, 28 Aquarius is that's one of the funniest chirons to have, because it's like I almost did it in my last life, almost, and now I'm here to.
And 22 moon at Scorpio.
So the chiron is 28 degrees Aquarius. So basically, you're scared of yourself.
Yeah.
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 Because you failed to be fair, just to build community and be in community in their life. So this is the life you came back to do it. You couldn't have picked. My gosh, you could have picked.
On Sunday to come. On Wednesday I got decided. I booked it. So why are you going? I'm going.
Yeah, I'm learning to be you. I think you're here to help me bring my Aquarius up to 29.
Hey, you don't know if you're in yet.
How do you feel?
I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I'm home.
You've been inside but outside your whole life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been lonely.
Terribly.
I no longer need to feel alone.
No longer need to feel alone.
The world's catching up to me.
It's catching up to me.
I care so much.
I care so much.
I'm learning to care for myself.
I'm learning to care for myself.
Letting go of the resentment that I've been holding
Letting go of the resentment I've been holding
about this life,
about this life,
so that I can find the joy in this.
so I can find the joy in this life.
I'm ready to receive.
Ready to receive.
No more sneaking around corners,
Sneaking around corners.
looking over shoulders and
Looking
fences.
over shoulders
And fences.
and fences.
I'm ready to show myself.
I'm ready to show myself.
That's what-
Yeah. I show my heart. And feel my heart.
It's powerful. Yeah, you're just waiting.
Yeah.
I mean, the world's catching up. I can't even imagine being 29
No.
Aquarius.
Gonna be great now. Because I got my weirdos.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all becoming weirdos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Tatiana yesterday about just not even feeling like it's a weird feeling to, love people around me, but like to say, I don't have the same love for my children that I have. And that's the Aquarius that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
It's to love, is to give up my love for an individual, the bondage love, so I can love everybody equally. Which is weird because people don't get it. It almost feels like being callous or caring, but I have as much love for somebody I meet on the street as I do my own children. And that's a weird feeling, and it's a judgmental feeling. I can only imagine living your whole life this way. I've only been doing this for a year and a half.
I don't have kids, so I don't get.
They are your kids.
They are my kids.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, they're my kids. Yeah.
Yeah, disconnecting from everybody so you can connect to everybody.
Yeah.
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 That's been my journey. I mean, that's where I'm at right now. And it's confusing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's like, because I say, well, how can I not love this person or partner or kids or parents, and but the other side of it is this is because the rules of our society today say this is the way it needs to be. We were talking yesterday about, love isn't the root emotion. Desire and fear are the root emotion. That's what we're made of. It's our low brain. We either desire to be like an animal, desires to be with you, or fears being moving towards you or away from you. Love is actually a conscious decision on top of desire, because desire creates weird stuff. And so animals do out in the park and everywhere. So that's desire. But love is to put perspective on the desire. And then caring is a component of my perception of love and desire. And so we've been taught that love is the way we want to be. And I agree with that, but caring is actually, because I can love in a world that we live in today. Some of what we call love ain't love. It's abusive, it's restrictive, it's controlling, it's jealous, it's angry. That's not love. If we add caring as the principle that we're looking to, and acceptance, because to be in acceptance, and that's what Aquarius is to be in acceptance of whatever, to demonstrate caring that shows love, that helps people feel desire.
That's so neat. Yeah.
I
That's why
respect
they're
you.
always in hospitality, because they cared of everybody.
Yeah.
Make sure everything was.
Your journey's changing.
No, I know it is. It already has.